Hi, my name is Tiffany Winman with IBM Software Social Media, and I'm at the South by Southwest 2010 conference in Austin, kind of interviewing people. One of the people here is one of my IBM colleagues, Rawn Shah. Ron, can you tell us a little bit, what do you do? What's your role at IBM?
Hey, so my focus is about getting people inside IBM to use social software to a greater degree for their work. So it's really encouraging people, find out what motivates them, where the social software would actually be useful to them, and what they can actually use and learn, what they'll actually remember.
Cool.
So
now I'm going to ask you about your book, but but first I want to just ask, what are you doing at South by?
South by. So I came for 2 conferences. South by, I wanted to see some of the new topics that are coming out. So the topic I stepped out of was interactive infographics. Now you don't see that in many other places unless you go to a design-only conference, and I don't really get a chance to do that. But that's about presenting data, presenting information, and I work with lots of data. How do you make data much more absorbable to people? How do you make it a lot more inspirational? You know, something rather than line charts here and there, things like that. So that kind of mix of media and technology, and I'm sure there's movie and music and all that stuff which I haven't seen. That was really where South by is different. So.
And what was the other conference? You said you're here for 2, right?
Yeah, I went to the Social Business Summit. That was a one-day thing by the Duchess Group, and that was lots of interesting speakers like Charlene Lee, Dion Hinchler. These are folks in social computing and social media. So.
Okay, so your book, you gave me a copy of your book, thank you, and I started reading it. For those who don't know about your book, can you, maybe hold that up.
This is your copy?
Yes, that's my copy, thank you. And then, what's the title, and can you tell us a little bit about theirs?
Okay, so, all right.
No, you got it.
So the title's Social Networking for Business.
Yep.
Really the focus is business, in terms of what kind of problems can you actually solve with social technologies. How do you group the people into solving those problems? What are the actual steps you do? We talk about it in many different ways. For example, I use a common word, crowdsourcing. There's actually many different kinds of crowdsourcing. In each one of them, the method, how you do the task, is particularly different. So here I list out several different descriptions of how do you do crowdsourcing, what are the steps. Now, that context is different based on the grouping. So the grouping is another, the social experience. How do you actually, what kind of experience do you need for people to be involved in that? And then how do you guide, what's the leadership model to guide people towards some of that stuff? What is the culture that actually develops if you get to a certain level? And what to look for. So rather than saying, this is nice and this is something you should do and this is a business value, this is what you actually do to go out to go get business. And it works inside organizations, outside organizations, so I give examples from both sides. So when you look at it in terms of a model, here are models that work regardless of the example itself. And that's what a lot of people say, tell me about this particular company and how that. Well, there's one thing about the model working, there's another thing about what the company did to make it a success. Now, you can have the best model in the world, but if you don't know how to make it a success, well, that's something else, right?
It's 1 in the morning and we're having a hamburger.
It's live, we're on the street.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, so who's the audience for the book? As I was reading, I was thinking, who are the key people that would find the book of most value?
It's a bad idea to write a book for a job title that doesn't exist, but social architects. Essentially, there are different organizations. There are roles, some of which are business people, others which are technology people, others which are HR organizations. People in different roles where they are in the position to say, well, I think we're going to do an experiment, or I think we're going to deploy something in terms of social software. Now, how do I go about doing that? So marketing people, this applies to a wide range of people, but I commonly group them into a new category. It may not be a permanent job, but social architect there.
Gotcha. So, kind of a tough question here.
All right.
But so your publishers, we always know whenever you produce a book, publishers make you take certain things out, type of thing.
Yeah.
So what did you find of value that you're like, I hated to have to give this up in the book, but I did give it up?
200 pages.
Yeah.
There was a larger, more intricate model that I actually had then. I had to reevaluate into a simpler form. One of the things was that it just takes a lot more time to describe the visuals and what they mean and how the relationships between the different aspects. So there are probably about 8 or 9 different aspects described in here. What depends on something else. So, for example, the grouping experience and leadership, how you lead that group, are related to each other, and it's related to culture. On the other hand, the task, how you do something, it depends on, the task itself then says, well, now you need this kind of group, or now you need this kind of leadership, but not vice versa. Right? So it's a much more intricate model, but they said it's too complex. You need something that people can absorb in a rather quick way, and you're not doing a textbook, so maybe that's the next project. The other part that's really missing, that's probably a plan for book 2, is adoption. That's one of the arguments I got. Says, well, adoption is really the challenge. It's not having these things. Having the models are nice, but the real challenge is getting people to use them.
So you're thinking about would it be like a book on motivations for adopting social media?
It's motivations, it's different techniques. Some of what we do in IBM, basically organization scale, individual scale, what motivates people to do that. What are the building factors? Like one of the key ideas is social proof. So a social system requires, most social systems, not all of them, requires some proof that other people are using it. That's the simplest way of saying that. If there are no other people using it, why would you bother?
Right.
So those ideas, what constitutes social proof, things like that get people involved and engaged in using the tools.
Gotcha. Okay, so one other kind of quick question.
Sure.
Where can people buy it? The obvious.
It should be in all major retailers. I've seen it in Fort Myers. I've seen it, Barnes & Noble's, Borders. You'll be on Amazon. It's on mostly in the U.S. I don't know if it's available internationally yet.
Can I see it again? I'm
Sure.
gonna just kind of look at the cover. Okay, so there it is. I don't see your name on there. Is your name on there?
Sorry, it's on the bottom.
Oh, okay, there you go. So Rawn Shah. Okay, great. Okay, anything else you wanted to add or say?
No, I thought South by was exciting. It's got its ups and downs. You got to pace yourself.
Yes, indeed.
And it takes a lot of energy to keep up with all the energetic people here. I don't know how they do it.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for sharing today, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thanks.